Hi students, welcome to our second episode of Backyard Science. My daughter Molly's joining me again as a lab assistant, and today we're going to talk about acids and bases. If you recall, a couple of weeks ago when we were still covering our chemistry unit, I asked you to submit some household items and tell me if you thought they were an acid or a base. And we're going to test as many of those items as I could find around my house this afternoon and see if you were right. So we're going to start out with some items that come from the refrigerator. So we're going to zoom in here, and we're going to start with orange juice, and we also have apple juice and milk. I've left those items in the fridge, so they're not out here. But I have this, we'll call it my magic liquid. I don't know if you can see it here. It's kind of a dark, here there's so much of it, it's kind of a dark, it's actually kind of a bluish purple. And I'm going to add some to the orange juice and let my assistant here stir it up. All right, let me add a little more just to see. Definitely does not look orange anymore. It's picking up kind of a pinky color from the liquid. And this liquid actually changes color depending on if the item we're testing is acid or base. And pink and the red end of the spectrum actually indicates acid, which is what we would expect for orange juice. We know our citrus items have citric acid in them. So there's orange juice. Now I'm going to add some to apple juice. Just get a new spoon. Stir that up. Not much color change with the apple juice. Actually, okay. Maybe a little bit pink there. And then we're going to pour some in with our milk. It's blue. Blue milk. And blue actually goes towards the base side of the spectrum. So that would indicate milk is a base. Now I want to do one thing. I want to start you off with just some, as that's what it is with nothing added to it. So we'll kind of keep that as the standard. Now this has water by default as part of the testing agent. So can't really test water because there's water in it. Now we're going to test some more things. I'm just grabbing cups off the list. We're going to start with lemon sparkling. This is lemon sparkling water. So I'm going to set these other ones off to the side. We'll come back to them in a moment. So we're going to do lemon sparkling water. Somebody wanted to do carbonated water, and I unfortunately don't have any carbonated water. This was the closest. So it does have some lemon in it, which may increase its acidity. We'll see. Stir that up. Definitely some pink to it. So I would say there's some acid, whether it's from the lemon or the carbonated water. It's a little hard to tell for sure. See what's next. We're going to do hand soap. So I have my assistant put a couple pumps in there. Probably one's enough. I'll do a little hand soap here.
Oh, it smells so good.
All right, she'll stir that up and we'll see if it changes color. All right, so that didn't really seem to change color too much. Here's our standard. They look pretty similar to me. So we'll set that one to the side. That one looked pretty neutral. Next, we're going to do a Tums. I want to add a little solution to this because my cup suddenly is about to try to blow away. And this one we may have to let set a little bit because sometimes the Tums take a little bit to dissolve. So I just have extra strength Tums. Okay. Hang on to that because it's trying to blow away. Drop that in there and start stirring. Stir that up. Like I said, it may take a little bit to dissolve. Why don't you slide over and keep stirring that to get the Tums to dissolve, and I'll work on the next one. Cream of tartar. Now you may not be familiar with cream of tartar. It's just, I don't even really think it's a spice, but it's something used in cooking. Find it in the spice area of your grocery store. It's just a white powder. And we're going to dissolve some of that in here. Makes it a bit cloudy, but it's also making it very pink. You can just let that sit and dissolve if you want. So you can see that went pink, so that's on the acid side of things. Oh, we're gonna get a good one this time, bleach. It's one reason I'm doing this outside is some of these you're not supposed to breathe too much in the way of the fumes. Add a little bleach. And this one didn't even need to be stirred. This went very much yellow. That's a base. So bleach is a very strong base. So I'm going to set that to the side. Next we're going to do ammonia. And this is where you have to be careful. You don't want to mix actually bleach and ammonia. It produces toxic fumes. But we are going to mix a little bit with our cabbage juice here. And I can see the bubbles starting to turn green. Stirring that. You can see the green tint. So ammonia is also a base, but not quite as strong a base as the bleach because it stayed in the green. The bleach went to yellow. So we'll set those over here to the side. Look at the next one. I'm gonna do that one here in a bit. Here, let's try laundry detergent. Put in a little drop of laundry detergent. Stir that up. Usually our cleaners are bases. That's what cuts grease and grime. So as you can see, that went a little bit blue, so that would be base. Just not a strong base. Next we're going to do a common one, that's baking soda. Again, baking soda is normally a white powder from your kitchen. We'll mix that in there. I'm going to add a little bit more of our pH indicator. Again, it's a blue. Kind of a dark blue, but we can see it's a darker blue
in the sunlight
than our laundry detergent. So it's not quite as strong a base as the laundry detergent, I don't think. Well, actually, I think maybe this is closer to the... We'll have to look at the spectrum of colors. This may be a little more purple, so this may be a little bit more towards the acidic end, but this is definitely both base. Next, some lemon juice. This is just lemon concentrate. And just as you'd suspect from lemon, it immediately went pink, which indicates an acid. Didn't even have to stir it. So, definitely acidic there. Next, we're going to do some dish soap. Put a little squirt in there. Now, this is already blue, so it may be a little bit hard to tell. Stir that up since that was a little thick. Again, we're definitely in the blue side of the spectrum, so definitely a base. Now, someone asked about toothpaste. Now, this may be a little hard to stir up, but we're going to give it a try. If I can get it to go in there. Scrunch it down in there. Add our pH solution. I think it went a little bit, it looks about the same. I think this toothpaste is fairly neutral, looking at those. So not much change with the toothpaste. Next, we're going to do vinegar. Another one from the kitchen, one we're all familiar with. So, this is just 5% vinegar. So this is what we normally use in the kitchen. I'm just going to add a little bit in here. Probably pretty common knowledge, vinegar is acidic. And you see it going pink without even stirring it. Went fairly pink, so that's an acid. Next, we're going to do cleaning vinegar. Now, it's not as dilute. Now, unfortunately, on the cleaning vinegar I have, I could not find the percentage of, it's still diluted, but not as much. And I could not find the percent of dilution. We'll see if it's any different than 5%. No, it's definitely different. Didn't have to mix that one up. And just to contrast, there's your 5%, there's your cleaning vinegar. So it's definitely a hotter pink. So it's definitely more acidic than the 5% vinegar. This is our last one?
Yep.
Last one, Drano. Now this specifically is sodium hypochlorite and sodium hydroxide. That hydroxide gives us a hint. We're going to put a little bit of this out. Not much. Add a little bit of our solution. Give it a stir. And you can see definitely went kind of a greenish yellow. So it's somewhere probably between the green ammonia and the yellow bleach as far as bases go. Alright. So There's the various colors. We'll pause the video for a moment. So here's the full spectrum. We start with the most acidic, which was the vinegars, through the juices, cream of tartar. We come through to the neutral, which is starting to turn blue. And then we start with the mild bases that are mildly alkaline, which is the cleaners. Then we go through milk, Tums. Then as it starts to turn green, we're getting into the stronger bases, what are considered more alkaline, into the Drano. And then the bleach, you notice that yellow is fading. That's because the bleach is actually bleaching out the color. And that is the most alkaline, the strongest base. And here's the full spectrum. So you can see all the colors. And our pH indicator is actually red cabbage. I actually took a red cabbage and boiled it this morning to create red cabbage juice, which is actually an excellent pH indicator. Have a good evening.